Welcome to Football Game Plan's FCS Kickoff, presented by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Mike McCarthy is a producer behind the boards, and it's time for week 3 of the college football season as the Ivy League joins the party this week as they open up their seasons. Here's a look at what we have on tap for this episode. We'll take a look at the man behind the X's and O's of the Howard Bison offense as offensive coordinator Brendan Marion breaks down his go-go offense. We'll take a look at which team should be on upset alert this weekend. And as always, we'll take you coast to coast, breaking down the biggest games this week on the FCS Week 3 schedule. But first, let's take a look at some of the big storylines heading into Week 3 as we get things kicked off by going into our 4-minute offense. As we mentioned in the open, the Ivy League begins play this week. The last 3 seasons in the Ancient 8 have been outstanding. We've seen record performances, big-time upsets, NFL draft prospects, and strong defensive play with some great offensive firepower. So if history is of any indication, this season in the Ivy League shouldn't be any different, as there are some intriguing matchups that take place this week that we'll talk about later on in the show. So far, the Big South Conference has shown itself positively in the first 2 weeks of the season. At least the top 3 teams in the 6-team league, Liberty, Monmouth, and Kennesaw State, look really strong. Both the Flames and the Hawks are undefeated, and Kennesaw State took Sanford to the brink in Week 1. We'll see as we move forward if the bottom half of the conference can get off the mat and catch up. Last week in Fordham's comeback victory over Central Connecticut State, All-American running back Chase Edmonds left the game a bit banged up. Now, we don't know what the extent of the injury is, but if number 22 isn't able to be at 100% against Eastern Washington, that could make things very interesting in the Bronx. The Rams hope that he's able to go, as he needs to be able to balance the field against an aggressive Eagles defense. As we always do on this show, we'll give you a few NFL draft prospects from the FCS to keep an eye on this week in their matchups. One will take place in Newark, Delaware, as the Blue Hens linebacker Charles Bell faces the Cornell Big Red in their passing attack. It should be a great test to gauge on what he can do from a coverage standpoint. Missouri State's wide receiver Malik Earl has dynamic skills and should get a ton of opportunities this week against Murray State. Bucknell's defensive lineman Abdullah Anderson is one of the best defensive linemen in the FCS, and playing against William & Mary this week versus that Tribe offensive line should be an excellent matchup to keep an eye on.
I think the FCS gives a student athlete a chance to really develop in the classroom and on the field. And I don't think there's anything that gets in the way of the development of the student athlete. You know, whereas in sometimes other conferences, other levels of play, I think there's some things that could sway a student athlete in a wrong direction here or there. But I think at the FCS level, I think it's all about the student athlete. I think it's all about his development in the classroom and also on the playing field. And it really it keeps your values and your goals right in front of you. And I think there's less things that are going to take you away from those things.
Last week, we saw Alcorn State nearly pull one out against Florida International. The same for Howard and Villanova. New Hampshire straight up dominated Georgia Southern last week in a victory. Let's see which game should be placed on upset alert this week in the football championship subdivision. We have a lot of potential upsets this week on the docket. We'll start in Newark, Delaware, as the Cornell Big Red open up their season against the Blue Hens of Delaware. And I've been very impressed with Delaware's defense so far. They've held Delaware State to 3 points, and Virginia Tech had a tough time moving the ball against them at times last week. But their offense is still a work in progress, and when we last saw the Big Red, they were able to push the ball up and down the field with their stellar quarterback, Dalton Banks. I think the freshness of the Big Red and their ability to score quickly will put this one out of reach. This is the first meeting between these two storied programs. Look for the Big Red to go 1-0 on the season and also in this matchup. North Carolina A&T travels an hour and a half south down I-85 to take on the Charlotte 49ers. And the story of this season so far for the Aggies has been how dominant their defense has been and how flawless quarterback Lamar Renard has played from the pocket. The Aggies have given up only 3 points on the season and are sitting at 2-0. Charlotte lost some playmakers on both sides of the ball to the NFL and coming to this ball game limping offensively. Look for the Aggies to roll once again, knocking off the 49ers. The Toreros of San Diego travel east to take on the Princeton Tigers. San Diego has all of the ingredients to win the ball game. Terrific quarterback, solid running game, stellar tight end, and a pass rusher that can affect the game. None of that helped them last week against UC Davis. Princeton opens up at home with an experienced offense led by their offensive line, and where the Tigers hang their hats is in the trenches on both sides of the ball. I think they'll open up with a strong performance and avenge a loss in 2014 out west to these same Toreros. Another intriguing matchup between the Southland and SWAC this week. Ironically, last week it also involved Prairie View A&M as well as they faced Sam Houston State. The biggest takeaway from that game was how the Panthers' offense was able to generate big play after big play. That type of offensive explosiveness will always give you a chance to win games. Nichols has knocked off McNeese State and pushed Texas A&M to the brink last week as the game wasn't decided until the final 2 minutes. They have Sam Houston State next week, but they can't find themselves overlooking the Panthers. I believe they'll avoid the upset and take care of business at home in what will be once again a very close game for the Colonels. We have an upstate New York battle here between Colgate and Buffalo, and this should be a very physical game between two teams that are very similar. I'm a Coach Dan Hunt fan. He does a great job in getting the most out of his players and has them competing at a high level at all times. The key in this game will be if their offense can deliver the knockout blow when they have the Bulls on the ropes. The Bulls are equally as tough on defense. Buffalo has really stymied two explosive offenses in Minnesota and Army. Right now they're out of sync offensively, especially on third downs. I like the Raiders to go in and win this game against the Bulls, spoiling their home opener. A Sunshine State battle between Bethune-Cookman and Florida Atlantic. Both of these programs dealt with Hurricane Irma this week and are looking to get back to the business of football. The Wildcats are coming off a big-time win against Southeastern Louisiana, while the Owls hope that Hurricane Irma blew in some offense into Boca Raton. Florida Atlantic has struggled on that side of the ball, which is supposed to be the specialty of head coach Lane Kiffin. Offense isn't where Bethune-Cookman is struggling. As a matter of fact, quarterback Larry Brim is playing some of the best ball of his career. I like the Wildcats on the perimeter on both sides of the ball. They'll keep the Owls asleep in this one. Towson travels to St. Francis to take on the Red Flash, and the old football saying goes, when you travel, make sure you pack your run game and your defense. Well, I do like Towson's chances in that regard. They are very good at the point of attack. The only issue is that so is St. Francis. As a matter of fact, they can also score the ball. The Red Flash have one of the more balanced offensive attacks in the FCS. This one will be close initially, but expect the Red Flash to slowly pull away after the half. We saw the Howard Bison get off to a great start with their Week 1 upset over UNLV and near upset of Kent State last week. What's been the difference this year for the Bison so far this season has been their ability to put up points. New offensive coordinator Brennan Marion has done an outstanding job implementing his go-go offense, and I went down to the nation's capital this spring to find out more about Marion and his new offensive attack. Welcome to another edition of Get Coached Up. I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, here on the campus of Howard University with assistant coach, offensive coordinator Brennan Marion. Brennan, thanks for taking time, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. I followed your show. It's a great program, and I love, just giving back the game and coaching up football stories.
Well, that's what we had our first connection. You were in our books, Football Love Story, and what did football teach me? I've watched you grow through the ranks from a high school head coach to a coach at a lower level, and now you're at the Division I FCS level as an offensive coordinator. So your journey has been great. How has this ride been for you to where you ultimately end up right now today at Howard?
Ultimately, I was a football player, and I always loved the game. And since I was 6 years old, growing up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that's football is all you got and what you do. So with the Steelers. So one of the things I always wanted to get into coaching when I was done playing, and when my career ended, I went straight into that. And I was assistant coach while I was on injury reserve for the Dolphins, and then I went from that to a JV head coach and worked with the varsity. And then at 25, I got a head coaching job out in California at a small private school, and from there I went to be another head coach in Pennsylvania. So the journey's just been crazy. I went to there and won Coach of the Year out there, turned around a team that hadn't had a winning season in 22 years. So we did that, and then I went out to Arizona State with Coach Graham. He was actually my head coach in college at the University of Tulsa. Did some great things in the Pac-12 there, learned a lot of things, learned how to, be in a Power 5 environment, and learned what it means to be a professional as far as coaching, because I always knew the game and loved the game, and as a high school coach, that's really what it's about, loving the game, but you also have to learn, the recruiting side, the paperwork side, those things. So being in that setting really helped me do that, prepared me for that, and then I went to Kentucky Christian and NAIA, recruiting coordinator, receiver coach there. Then I ultimately got a job at Oklahoma Baptist that summer. Worked Division II, and learned a lot of things there. Just, I never knew that players had to pay to play. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know about that situation as far as, being in college and being a Division II player. So a lot of those guys really loved the game. It reminded me of high school, as far as just guys playing ultimately, a lot of love for the game. And then got this job. And, it's just been blessed. I met Coach London, actually. Me and his son played together, with the Dolphins and the Montreal Alouettes in Canada. So I had that relationship there. And when I became a high school head coach, I was just asking him, I'd really love to take my team to your dad's 7-on-7 camp. Can you give me his number so I can set it up? Because we were late to, do the registration. So he got me in, and Coach London's a stand-up guy, and he's in that former cop. He's done it at the highest levels. At Richmond, he won a national championship. At Virginia, obviously, he was the head coach there, coach of the year. And we just hit it off, and we had built that relationship, and we just kept talking over the years. And he would tell me, I was doing a good job and stuff like that. And he called me, and actually took another job. So I thought I was going somewhere else, and he called me and said, I'm looking for your type of offense, the style of offense that we ran, at the University of Tulsa. And I was there under Gus Malzahn as the offense coordinator. He's looking for, up-tempo, exciting, fun offense. That's how I got here.
And here we are today, about to get coached up. What you're coaching me up on today?
Today, we'll just go over a little, just some base game plan stuff. Just some stuff that, will work with any player, any skill level. No matter if you're a JV coach and a middle school coach, all the way up to, an NFL coach. Just some different concepts and some easy things to teach the guys that'll, put them in a position to win.
Good. So say here we got our base personnel in the game, 11 personnel. That's 1 back, 1 tight end, okay, 3 receivers. All right, so we're in base. All right, and we'll just go to a twin set here. All right, we got the X, the Y, the Z, okay. We can get in pistol alignment, however we want to play it. The back goes play specific to the play. Okay, so right here, just say our H is here, okay, and we got our Y here. We're strong in the formation. We got our tailback here, okay. So right here, we're gonna go just a little guard tackle counter. All right, one of the staples of our offense, one of the plays that we'll always run and be accustomed to. Okay, so let's just say they got a 3 here and end here. Okay, nose opposite end. They're in the 4 down front, playing a crab shell, cover 4. Okay, and all we're trying to do here is work this double team down, rail block across. The center's back blocking flat, staying really flat right there. Okay, the guard is forcing the kick out or the trap block. Okay, the tackle's gonna ream up through. Okay, forcing this guy to not beat him over the top. Okay, beat him underneath. All right, and try to wash him into the play. Right here, our H is gonna let the tackle clear. As the tackle clears, he's gonna block inside via the neck, make the end run the hoop. He can't beat him underneath. Okay, our tailback is gonna take a quick jab. Boom. He's gonna get up in it. He has an 8A track mentality. Okay, but he can take this play anywhere he'd like to take it. All right, here, our X, he's gonna push crack, try to go get the safety. Out here, okay, for whatever reason, if this end beats our tight end right here, our hybrid guy right here, okay? Out here, we got a little spot concept. Okay, so he's gonna go out there and block. The quarterback's 2 in, 2 out with his footwork. He's up and down, okay? He's attacking right there. So if for whatever reason that end beats us, can the quarterback get around him? We'll work out here. The quarterback's responsible for the outside backer adjuster, that guy trying to play the run, the apex right there. Okay, so if he's trying to play run, all right, he gets it here. We know we have the spot throw out here. If he stays out, goes out, the quarterback can keep the ball and he's on air. Okay, he's on air, right? He's gonna be on the safety now. Okay, and that's our tackle guard counter. Okay.
Now I'm feeling that tackle guard counter. That was awesome right there. And now the passing game is something unique because a lot of times guys just want to throw the football all over the place, but there's a skill to it. And you're about to teach me what about a simple play on paper, but it has a lot of reads built within it.
Yeah, I think you have to be physical in the run game. I think the only way you're going to start a game and finish a game is with a run. I think, when you get a little bit too pass happy, unless you have a Tom Brady-esque type quarterback, somebody who can really sling that rock around, it'll be really hard to do that. So I haven't had that yet. So, I can't say that I'm going to go to air raid as of yet. But, so with tackle guard counter, if you look back, I'm a football junkie, history buff when it comes to football. And the tackle guard counter, Eric Dickerson, when he had the greatest single season rushing, record that year in the NFL, that's what the play that they ran, tackle guard counter. And you see a lot of coaches running it now. And at the high school level, we averaged 9 yards a carry on it. In the Pac-12, we averaged about 7-8 yards a carry running tackle guard counter. So it's just one of the staples. And it doesn't matter how good what type of back you have. Some guys will burst it outside because they're speed guys and they want to get out on the edge. And if you have a slower guy, he'll get up in between the tackles with the gap scheme run. So I think it really helps you, and it depends on what your back is going to hit that track. And I think it's just something that, it's a downhill play and you got a lot of big guys, a lot of moving parts. So the defense has to fit it up right. And if they don't fit it up right, you play off of them.
Now, what we're about to get on the whiteboard and learn now?
Now we're just go to a 4 vertical concept that we do, just, grassroots football.
All right, so here, let's just talk about how we're teaching the 4 vertical concept, okay? It's really simple for the outside guys, okay? You can run this from Little League all the way to the professional level, all right? And we want to get these guys really learning concepts, okay, of what they're going to do. So let's just say we got 2 by 2 here. We'll say the outside guy's 1, the inside guy's 2. The outside guy over here is 1, the inside guy's 2, okay? Quarterback's here, and you got a tailback here. He can be lined up anywhere. He can be in any of these 3 spots. Okay, we can line him up from anywhere. All right, so let's just say for right now, he's on the right side, the quarterback's right hit. Okay, so what we want to tell the guys on the outside, all right, the outside receivers right now, we want to tell them that they're all taking off. All right, we want to just tell them, hey, you're going streak, man. You're going streak. You're going streak. Get down the field, streak. All right, as they're going streak, okay, now there's some sight adjustments based on the coverage. Okay, so let's just say we got cover 2. All right, pen's not working. Give me a second. Okay. Let's say we got cover 2. Right? You got a backer somewhere here. Some guy trying to play the middle. Okay, middle and right here. So he's responsible here. He's responsible here. Okay, he's responsible here. He's responsible here. There. Boom, middle of the field. Okay, so now we have to tag one of these guys in the middle, right? Because the middle's open. So we got to get somebody to get into that middle. So right here, we would just call it white gator, okay? Getting this guy, he would know, okay, I'm breaking in to the left, right there. So at about 12 yards, he's going to stick his foot in the ground. He's going to be the bender or the beater right there in our 4 vertical concept. Outside, okay, our quarterback's keeping his eye on this safety to make sure, what? If this safety gets off the hash, okay, boom, he knows the middle's open. If this safety stays on the hash, we got to hit a hole shot right here, 18 to 22. Right? We have to be careful to make sure this corner's trailing us. This is a level 2 ball that we're throwing here, level 2. Okay? We're not just going to throw that thing up, loft it up, we're going to put it on them. Okay? It's not going to be a direct line, but it's going to be nice up and over, a hard throw right there. Okay? And you work that, way I break it down to my quarterbacks is, we're working half the field. Okay? Half side, boom, the back comes through, say he has a check down late. All right? We read the triangle here. Right? We're reading the triangle always. So you're keeping your vision right here. Okay, you're always thinking, can I hit the seam first? Okay, the seam's not there, then I work outside, then I get my eyes down to my check down. I really don't like my guys with young quarterbacks working both sides of the field. I would like for them to split the field in half, make it simple. Okay, so if we're in a perfect world, 1, 2, 3, you 4. Okay, and that's how the doubles, spread, even, whatever you want to call it, okay, whatever system you're in, that's 4 verticals from a cover 2 look.
Now, question, why are people, let's say you have a half-field read, people see that as a knock. Why is that not a knock?
It's not a knock because you want your quarterback to throw on rhythm, you want him to throw on time, you want him to be accurate, and you want to get the ball out of his hands. Our offensive line coaches hate, the number one thing they hate is giving up sacks. You have a young guy who's nervous in a new game. You have to understand this is a player's game. In a perfect world, as a coach, you see it, it's like Bug's Life. You're in the box. You think, oh, wow, you're putting all the pieces and puzzles in place and all that stuff. But as a player out there, with an end who's screaming off the ball, coming at him, okay, he has to make a decision. So half-field read is giving him it's putting him in an opportune position to make a great play, get us in a great play.
Now, explain something further to me about the four verts. It again is simple in how it looks as far as just going straight down the field with four wide receivers trying to find the individual matchup but there's a lot of intricate details involved in that.
Yeah, with four verticals, obviously you want to get your speed guys down the field and give them an opportunity to make a play. But also you want to be smart and not just having guys running Hail Mary, right? You just don't want guys just running full speed down the field. So there's some different things that we'll do to play off the defense, sight adjust based on, if it's cover 3, cover 4, man-to-man. There's a lot of different things that you can do to play with cover 4, and then also in the RPO game, faking some run action stuff, making sure you're protected and still, playing putting the defense in a bad position and getting your guys in a favorable matchup. So with four verticals, the concept is really just getting your speed down the field, but also you want to be smart and not just have guys just running, I call it just, playing football on the street, everybody run down there, so I want to make sure that we're sight adjusting, doing the proper things to get guys open.
Now, one thing I like about the passing game is that a lot of times you can catch one guy in a bad situation, and it's usually a guy that's left out to dry, and I think what we're about to go learn now is a little something that's catered toward that.
There's always going to be a matchup or a weak link or something on the defense that the defense is trying to hide, and we're just trying to exploit that. That's all our job is, good on good and finding which one's bad.
All right, so we're about to hit the whiteboard and learn now.
Right now, we'll go into the outside flood concept.
All right, so here, we're going to work our outside flood concept, okay? And obviously this play is geared to the strength. Now over here, if you got a speed guy, a stud, okay, you get your Y off the ball, you get your Z on the ball, okay? And all we're trying to do right here is work level. So let's say they're in a strong 3, roll 3, all right? Right? He has flat, he's working there, boom, boom. All right, 3 deep, 4 under, okay? All we're trying to do here is clear this guy out, get him out of here, okay? He's running a nice little sail route, okay? He's getting open, 12 to 15 yards. You don't want these guys to be robotic. You can't say running 10 yards, break out, be stiff robots. I want this guy to get in here, feel it, really get open in the zone. If it's man, okay, if he finds out it's man, he's gonna run away, full speed to the sideline. If he's zone right here, he could hook up here. He could hook up here. He could get out here and hook up. Okay, the quarterback's gonna throw him open, all right? The H right now is going right now to the flat, getting all the way to the sideline. Okay, so now we're working this level right here, and we'll give like a quick little token fake, 60 protection, zone side, man side. Okay, backside, if we like the one-on-one, we'll do a bang 8 back here. What we call a bang 8, it's basically a 10-yard flat slant. Okay, and we can hit that 10-yard flat slant anytime we like the one-on-one back here, we can take it. Okay, but for whatever reason, we don't like that right now. Let's get to the field. Okay, so we're over here to the field. All right, the quarterback is working this triangle right here, working this level. Okay, he's working this level. This adjuster cannot be right, this safety. Okay, if he plays back, great, we'll take the flat right now. If he plays up, boom, we're playing off this right here. For whatever reason, the corner, okay, he wants to try to jump something, then you have your guy going down late. Okay, so if we're in the red area, okay, this is how I tell my quarterbacks to read it, red area, 25 going in. I'm looking for the flat first, I'm going to the sail, and then I'm seeing if he's on the back line or something late. Okay, now if we're backed up and we're going in, we're opposed. We're 45 minus 45. Okay, so now I'm going for the shot first, then I'm going to the sail, and then I'm going down to the flat. Working the flat late. So we're just working the levels right there, working the triangle, great safe play, ran it at all levels from JV to Division I, NAIA, D2, and it's been successful.
Well, Coach, listen, man, it's finally great to meet you in person. You taught me a lot here on the whiteboard, learned a lot about your story from talking to you throughout the years, man. It's been great to see you rise, and I'm definitely going to be watching Howard football, especially the offensive side of football this year, man. Thanks for taking time, man.
No problem, man. I can't wait to see you out here to check out the Go-Go offense.
Uh-oh.
All right, it's prediction time here on the FCS Kickoff, and let's start things out right here in the Bronx, where Eastern Washington travels to Coffee Field to face the Fordham Rams. The once high-flying Eagles offense has been grounded the first 2 weeks of the season. That was expected after losing so many talented players on the perimeter. The Fordham Rams defense does provide a bit of a reprieve, but how much is the question? Fordham may or may not be without stud tailback Chase Edmonds, but right now I have full confidence in quarterback Kevin Anderson and his ability to generate offense with the receiving options he has at his disposal. I like Fordham. The Liberty Flames are burning red hot right now as they take on Indiana State. This game probably should have been on upset alert as the Sycamores are always well coached and disciplined. They really need their redshirt freshman QB Cade Sparks to continue to grow his game in a positive direction. Right now the Flames are playing extremely well on both sides of the ball and will avoid the hiccup at home. This may be one of the best games of the weekend between New Hampshire and Holy Cross. The Wildcats straight dominated Georgia Southern last week, and Holy Cross has been a bit of a surprise so far this season with a near upset of UConn in week 1. Both defenses are stout, and you will look toward the offensive side of the ball to see where the advantages are. I tend to lean toward the Wildcats and their offensive line as the advantage in this one. They've done a good job of giving quarterback Trevor Knight time to work the offense, and he's paid off handsomely by protecting the football. This was a comeback victory last year, I believe, for the Wildcats, and I think they'll control it from start to finish this time around. The Tampa Classic is still on between Tennessee State and Florida A&M. The Tigers' defense has been a key reason for the 2-0 start. FAMU's offensive line has been the story of their season so far. Now the question will be, will they settle in offensively after an inconsistent week of prep because of the hurricane? For Tennessee State, will this be the game that their passing game clicks and gets on the same page as their ground attack? I think so look for Tennessee State to win this one in Tampa. An intriguing Big Sky Missouri Valley Conference matchup between Northern Iowa and Southern Utah. It's been a rough go at it defensively for the Panthers. That's where they're usually the most dependable. Right now they're having issues getting off the field on third down. Southern Utah is coming off an impressive victory over Stephen F. Austin. Senior quarterback Patrick Tyler has been impressive. The 6'4" signal caller has shown great leadership and decisiveness in the pocket. Look for his escapability to cause problems for a Panthers defense that has had issues all season long. And look for the Thunderbirds defense to continue to do a great job of playing on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. I like Southern Utah. Quietly, this Sacred Heart Pioneers coming to this week's game versus Stony Brook undefeated. It's been what they've been known for as the reason why, controlling the line of scrimmage. The same can be said for the Seawolves, who are consistently stellar up front on both sides. Both teams are built similarly, but the difference between the two, and what will ultimately be the difference in this ball game, is the quarterback position. Pioneer quarterback Kevin Duke is efficient and can be trusted to avoid the big mistake. I like the Pioneers to move on to 3-0. The Howard Bison travels down I-95 to take on the Richmond Spiders, and we spoke earlier about the Bison go-go offense, and they have definitely answered the call. The biggest concern for me is the defense that has given up on average 39 points a game. Now, the Spiders' defense average isn't much better at 32 points a game, but they were able to tighten up last week against Colgate, holding the Raiders to only 17 points. We know the Bison can score, but can they slow down the Spiders enough to win? I don't think they can. I'm taking Richmond in a high-scoring affair. Another Big Sky Missouri Valley Conference matchup in week 3 between North Dakota and South Dakota. The Fighting Hawks owned the Potato Bowl last week as they knocked off Missouri State. This game provides a different challenge as they have to figure out a way to contain the dangerous Chris Strebler. We know they can dominate up front on both sides of the ball, and that'll be key in this one. I love the brand of football that the Coyotes play. They keep defenses off balance with their star quarterback Chris Strebler, and they are opportunistic on defense. And they are also coming off the quietest FBS upset last week as they beat Bowling Green 35-27 in a game in which they dominated from start to finish. Can you score and can you take the ball away? The Coyotes can do both. I think they upset the Fighting Hawks and move on to 3-0. The Big Green travels south to take on the Stetson Hatters. Dartmouth is coming off an up and down year defensively and will look to get back on the right track this season. They take on a Stetson team that lost a lot of experience on both sides of the ball in the offseason, including 4-time All-American defensive back Donald Payne. This one, the Big Green should be able to handle pretty easily. I like Dartmouth. So that's it for this week's episode of the FCS Kickoff. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media accounts. And if you missed any one of our episodes and want to watch them again, visit the website footballgameplan.com/FCS Kickoff. And don't forget to check out and subscribe on iTunes to the FCS Opening Drive. And always stay tuned for the FCS Conference Whip Around.